and welcome back to another video of the basic JavaScript course for beginners. In today's video, we are going to complete with our last lesson concerning loops in JavaScript. The last time we dealt with for loops. This time we are going to see how to use while loops in JavaScript. So now let's dive into the code editor, but after the intro. So as same as the for loops that we have seen in the last video, the while loop executes this block of statement repeatedly until this condition is not anymore met or evaluates to false, with the only difference that the expression that we use in the for loop to evaluate the condition is always executed at the end of each iteration. However, in the while loop, the expression that we are going to use to evaluate the condition can be used or can be executed anywhere in the loop. And to illustrate this, let's have this example. Let's say that we have got a counter that we are going to initialize with the value 0. So what we are trying to do in this example is to print to the console of the counter before and after the execution of our expression that we are going to use to evaluate our condition. In this case, it's going to be incrementing the counter. So let's see that. First, let's define our condition, which is going to be, since the counter is lesser or equal to 5, console log first the counter before just print the counter. Then we are going to execute our expression that we are going to use to evaluate the condition. In this case, it's going to be increment the counter, then console log the counter after. Now let's save, then refresh the page. As you can see, we are printing the counter before and after. So notice that we are executing this expression in the middle of the block of statements, so not like in the for counter where we are meant to execute this expression at the end of each iteration. Now you might ask yourself this question: when to use the while loop and when to use the for loop. So one rule of thumb would be to use the for loop whenever you know how many times you are going to or you want to execute this block of statements. On the other hand, you would use the while loop whenever the number of iteration is unknown. Now the do while loop is similar to the while loop. However, in the do while loop, we execute this block of statement at least once. So to illustrate this, let's have this example. For example, we have a counter that we are going to initiate with the value 0. Then in the block statement, we are going to check if the counter is not equal to 0, strictly equal to 0, then we console log the counter. And after that, we will increment the counter. And for our condition, we are going to check if the counter is lesser to 5. Now basically what is going to happen here is to execute this block of statement whether this condition is met or not. So in this case, we are going to just increment the counter because the counter at the first is going to equal 0, and after that we are going to console log the counter. Now let's save and refresh the page, and as you can see, we are printing the values from 1 to 4. This example might not make sense because, or it's not that optimal, because we are checking this condition at each iteration, which is in this case not useful. We would probably just initiate the counter with 1, then omit this if condition. But just for the sake of illustration and just to see how the do while loop works, I have used this example. We are now at the end of the lesson. Hopefully, I hope that you have learned something new today. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Till next time, peace.